What's the movie gonna be about? I'm gonna make a video about Monstera elbows. About Monstera elbow propagation and making a pole or a stake for it. Yeah. Hi guys, welcome back to Pops and Plants. This is my dog Doug. He is a miniature dachshund. He's crazy, so he might just try to jump out of my arms here any second. No, he's a good boy. This is my dog Linda. She is the baby of the pack. She's just so precious and sweet. And she's gonna help me today. We're gonna be adding a pole to this variegated Monstera. It's just kind of grown past its pole, and it's also not really attaching well to the poles that I've had previously. So I started making my own poles. They would just work much better. The roots attach really quickly and easily into the moss poles that I make. So I'm gonna show you how I do that, how we attach this, we'll detach it from its current moss poles. It's attached just a little bit, and then attach it to the new moss pole. She's just being so sweet right now. Oh my gosh, I don't wanna let you down. I don't wanna let you down, baby. You're so precious. Yeah. She's just so precious and sweet. Look at her. Okay, I put you down now. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you. Did take some B-roll footage. I'll show that now. Just what we've got going on here up close. So it's definitely got a node that's pushing out here, and it has nothing to attach to because it's grown past the pole that it's on. I do have some propagations that should be ready soon of this beautiful Monstera. Where I propagated it, it pushed out a new node. So it's actually got a growth point, an activation point that started growing into a new stem. So that's really, really exciting. I don't know yet if I want to take another propagation. I mean, I do want to. It's so hard to cut plants like this that cost, you know, quite a bit. When I purchased this, I don't remember the exact amount, but it was hundreds of dollars. So it's definitely a beautiful specimen and a beautiful plant. I repotted it recently into a bigger pot because the roots were going crazy, and it actually lost a bunch of leaves. Like the leaves that it came with, like the shipping leaves, they're all gone. These are all new leaves, which is great. And it just pushed out this beautiful leaf, which I just think is the most perfect kind of leaf that you could have. Like, it's variegated with at least 3 different colors of green, and it has some fenestration started, and it's got just a ton of marbling. This leaf and some other leaves that came out with are very chunky white, and that's great too, but I love it when it's just got the entire leaf is just marbled. It's like a painting. It's like God's painting. But yeah, let's do this. I think I probably am gonna propagate it. I'm just too scissor happy, I guess. I love propagating stuff, and I know if I cut it, it's gonna push out another growth point just like it did there. So, I mean, why wouldn't I, right? I think let's just make the pole. We're gonna do that first, and then we'll think about, while I'm making the pole, I'll think about cutting this. So I've had some sphagnum moss in some water, just kind of soaking up water for maybe about 24 hours now. And this is really, really good, high quality sphagnum moss. There's definitely middle of the road ones that I wouldn't be opposed to using if I had to, but if I can afford it, I always get the more expensive New Zealand moss. So I've been soaking it in just water. Ooh, I love the smell. It smells so good. I'm just gonna squeeze out, not all the water, but the majority of it. I don't want it to be like drenched, especially with this Monstera. It seems to be very sensitive to waterings. I've lost leaves before just overwatering it maybe one time. So you definitely want to be careful not to give your plants too much water. And you know that you have, when you have like a yellowing leaf directly after you watered the plant. Is everyone still obsessed with the variegated Monstera? Because I know maybe about a year ago it was hitting its peak, and that's when I got it, of course, probably when it was the most expensive. Are you guys obsessed with it like as much as I am still? Because I'm obsessed with them still. It's still my favorite plant. So I just kind of filled up this netting with the sphagnum moss. I just wanted to feel it out and see if it feels even. this is like the hardest part here. So I have my little black zip ties. They're just like the smallest black zip ties that you can get. And you just have to roll, but also be mindful of the moss coming out because it's gonna start falling out a little bit. You have to like tuck and roll. Okay, and this is where you want to pick it up and see if there's any holes that you might want to fill before you zip it all together. I'm just trying to layer it over itself one time, and then you take your zip tie, pinch the two sides of the netting together. Makes it a lot easier than trying to like leave the zip tie under everything. And I like to do the zip ties pretty close together. I'm maybe going 5 squares, like 5 or 6 squares over, I would say. It's gonna bunch out if you don't do that. I do make these poles, these exact poles, in any size that you want on my Etsy shop. So you can go and follow the link in the video description down below, or just go to Pups and Plants US and you should be able to just look it up that way on Etsy. Or I'm pretty sure if you just type in customizable moss poles, you're gonna see these exact poles come up under the name Pups and Plants US. And I don't just ship to the US, I do ship to other countries, but not all countries. So just check and see if you're a country that I ship to. Yeah, it gets pretty tricky shipping plants and even moss, because moss is considered a plant and it could have pests. So anything that could potentially have pests, like a plant or moss or dirt even, it's just really tricky to ship across like internationally. And it also costs a lot of money. So not only is it hard and time consuming, but it's financially difficult. But it's different everywhere. So I will say I live in New York State, and it's extremely difficult to ship internationally under the New York State legislation. It's actually like almost impossible, honestly, to ship anything in terms of like plants and live products. But I get it, they're just trying to protect us and not trying to break any rules or do anything, you know, suspicious.
Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious.
Okay, so now I'm gonna just give this a little bit of a haircut. You can either just take scissors and trim off any excess, or what I've been doing a lot too, which I think is good because you're not wasting any moss, is just poking the moss that's coming out, poking it back in, and that way I feel like we're not wasting this expensive moss. And yeah, once this Monstera grows out of this pole, it's really easy to extend these poles. So I would just make another one about the same size and attach it with zip ties around, just like that. Or I can use this for a different plant and make a whole new bigger moss pole, which honestly most of the time is what I do because I need this size all the time. So there's always a plant that I could put onto this moss pole and just make a bigger one. Yay, it's done. Okay, now comes the hard part. I hate to ever have to do this to any plant, like rip its roots off the moss pole. Luckily it's not attached, like really it's not attached to that moss. Actually, I only see, oh, is it 2? No, just one spot. One root is attached to this. Oh, I spoke too soon, I see 2. So 2 roots out of the 10 that I see sticking out here are actually attached. Oh my god, that was so easy. Wow, I made such a big deal out of it and it's like nothing. Yeah, these poles just suck. I hate to like put anything down like that, but they really do. This root's attached quite a bit, but it's only because it's in the soil. Like this part of the moss pole is literally in the soil. Way down there, so it was getting moisture from the soil. So honestly, I shouldn't put them down because a big reason why my roots aren't sticking to this is because I don't mist the pole. If I misted the pole, it would stick to it, I bet, pretty easily. But I just don't have the time to like go around and water all my moss poles. Although, I just got the electric mister. And can I tell you, now I want to go mist all my poles. So maybe I should just stop bashing them and try misting them, because I'm sure it would work if I misted the pole. But I just got that, and I'm also loving the style. Like, even just the look of these I like better than the old ones. So I am still gonna switch them all. I do feel like this moss, I don't know if it's this moss specifically or just all sphagnum moss, stays wet longer than this coconut husk or whatever is in it. I think it's cocoa coir. That's how they make these ones. And they just don't stay wet. Like, they do not stay wet at all. They'll just dry up within like 20 minutes, even if I did spray them. Okay, this root is really, really in there. Okay, got it. So we have this dowel here, and it's just a small little dowel. I'm just gonna break it in half, or cut it. What was that? Cut it in half. That's about half, and then, oh my gosh, every time. Okay, I'm gonna be aware of where the zip ties are. So they're all running along the back there. I'm gonna go on one side, weave in and out of this netting with our dowel, just a couple times so that's securely on there. And then on the other side, the zip ties are running along the back. So I'm gonna go directly on the other side, in and out of the netting on this side. There we go, just a couple times. That way I can stick it in the soil. So it's got a big hole where the other stake was. So I want to fill that in. Man, I really need to water this. It's like super bone dry. I'm just saying this because I always forget this part, but be aware where the zip ties are, so that when you're placing this, you have the front facing the front and the zip ties facing the back. So you don't want to put the zip ties up front. So I do think I'm going to propagate this. Let me water this first. Okay, not too much. It doesn't like too much water. That's okay, it's coming out the bottom, that's good. I have this twine here. I like this because it just looks like a root. It just looks natural. So I like that against the plant. It doesn't look too bad. Sorry about all that, the noise again. There's always some construction going on, especially when I'm trying to make a video, but pretty much all the time. I feel very fortunate that my husband can do all of this stuff. He's kind of like a general contractor, so he can do all of this stuff like around the house. So I'm very lucky. Saves a lot of money, because it is extremely expensive to have any work done or painting done or anything done around the house. But there's always something going on. I see where I want to cut this. I'm just gonna take you guys over here and show you. Hi, Dougie. I want to cut this. I always am like trying to point with my nail, but I had it injured when I was little. I had it slammed in a car door. So it's got this ugly, like bruised, ugly deformity to my nail. And it's my pointer on my right hand. So anytime I'm like, hey, look at this, I'm reminded of how ugly my nails are. Anyways, that's a long story. Okay. So I want to cut it right here. It's got an aerial root starting right there. And I just put out this new leaf. Or wait, is that this new leaf? I just put out this new leaf. So I know it's ready to be cut. It's got the perfect root to start a new plant. So I want to cut it right there. And then I have the rest of it tied, so hopefully it shoots out a new growth point, new activation point around either there or further down where it lost all of its leaves. We can only hope. We can only hope that these get activated. Come on, baby. Okay, let me get some clean shears. I'm gonna let this callus over for a while, so I'm not like putting it directly in sphagnum moss or anything. And in terms of like where I just cut it, because I'm an idiot and probably should have filmed that, but where I just cut it on the internode, basically there's two nodes. So one node is where this aerial root is coming out, that's a node. And there's a growth point in there as well. And then the next node was right down here. And I kind of went directly in the middle, but giving a little bit extra to this, because if this rots or anything happens to this internode, I have a little bit of time, a little bit of insurance in case it does rot or anything happens. I have time to cut it off before it gets to the important part, which is where the roots are and where the node is and where the new growth is going to come from. So this is a top cutting, so the new growth is actually just going to keep coming out here, but there's also a chance that a new growth point could start from this node as well. Oh, there's 2 nodes. There's another node there as well. So yeah, this has 2 opportunities to grow, 2 new stems, 2 new rooting places, and I'm just gonna let this callus over for a while. Make sure that this doesn't get exposed to any water or anything. Just keep it nice and dry. All right, well that's exciting. Another plant for the shop is on its way. A good tip for this, for twining the stem up, would be to start from the bottom, because I actually did one at the top and then I did one at the bottom tighter, and that loosened up the one at the top too much. So we're gonna redo the top one. And I think I'm gonna do some cloning paste. I think that does actually help. I've been doing some tests with the cloning paste to see if it actually does anything for the growth points, and it definitely does. So I'm gonna grab that and then I can show you where I put it. So this is called Crazy Kiki Cloning Paste. And a lot of times it's marketed as it's just for like orchids, like Phalaenopsis orchids, and it does work for orchids, but I use it and a lot of people use it just on any node or any activation point that you might see on a stem. Put a little bit of this on there and it actually triggers, it has hormones in it that triggers that activation point to grow. Wow, that sun's coming in hot right now. Whew, that is bright. Is it beautiful on camera? Am I like glowing? I feel like I'm glowing. I love this right now. Okay, let me grab the camera so you guys can see this, like where I'm gonna put this. I just grabbed a little bit on a Q-tip. So there is the stem, there's 2 stems. Oh, that is loud. Sorry guys. They're actually in the basement, so that noise is them banging on the ceiling in the basement, which is right where my feet are. So this is a node right here. There's a root coming out right here. And then there's the growth point, a potential growth point right here. It's not a growth point yet, but if there is growth, that's where it's gonna come out of. Just like this one here, where it has a node and then the growth point is shooting out. At each node, there's 3 things that can and probably will happen at some point. There's gonna be a node, there's gonna be a leaf, some roots, or at least 1 root. In the Monstera's case, it's usually 1 aerial root, and then the activation point or the growth point. So there's 3 things at each node. So this one hasn't shot out its activation point and its leaf just died. So it just has a root coming out at this point. I'm gonna try to get this activation point to start growing a new stem. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of this cloning paste right there. All right, let's see if there's any more spots here. Okay, so this activation point down here just is brown, but I think that's mainly because it was under dirt for a while until I just repotted it. It was under dirt. So I'm just gonna point it out. I see it, it's kind of brown, but it is where the activation point is. So I'm just gonna put this paste directly onto it. And I also see another one right behind this leaf here. Man, I wish I didn't tie it up now, but it's right there. So it's just a little lump. It's just very hard to see. I know, I'm sorry with the angle of everything, but it's right there. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of the paste on there. Okay, and then finally, after we did our paste on a couple of the nodes, I'm just gonna give everything a good misting. I just think these roots deserve a little bit of water. And this will also just help any aerial roots to attach just faster. They're gonna actually feel that humidity and that moisture and go right into the pole. Don't you love that? I just love that. Like, I just love to use it. It's so cool. I'm gonna let any extra water drip out into the sink over here. Something else I want to do and just show you guys with this cutting. This is rooting hormone. It's called Root Boost, and it contains hormone, which is just a hormone that helps roots to promote root growth. So I'm just gonna dip this end and this root that started right there into the hormone and let it callus over with this on it. Perfect. So it's not a ton, it's just a little, any little bit that got stuck on there, that's good enough. Hi guys.
Hi guys.
So I forgot to film an outro for this video, so I just decided to make a little outro here with my husband,
Hello.
Dan. This is Dan.
How you guys doing?
This is the man behind all the noise during the videos.
Yeah, sorry.
No, babe, I was telling them during the video, I feel so fortunate and so lucky, and I love you that you know how to do all this stuff.
Damn right.
So.
And you should.
Exactly.
That's correct.
Yeah. So yeah, the loud
Those are
noises.
nice words. Thank you.
Yeah, they're, you know, as annoying as they might be at times, we're just gonna put up with it because there's good shit going on around here. There's shit getting done around here. We'll put up with the noises for now, but
Gonna have to.
After a while, it'll be back to normal.
It'll be all done.
Yeah, it'll be
then
done.
You can be in the basement.
Yeah, we could set up in the basement with the greenhouse, and oh, that'll be so good. Yeah, because right now he's doing the basement. Perfect. Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
So yeah, during the video we propagated this Monstera Albo. So this is the propagation. I didn't even show in the video, like at the end of it, what it looked like after I put it in moss. So here we go. This is it. It's been just a couple days since I took that video, so it's not gonna be, it hasn't gotten any roots or any new leaves yet, but it's only been a couple days. So that's that one. It's beautiful. I'm gonna be so sad to let this go. Isn't that beautiful?
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. It's just gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. So it really is though. It's like my favorite leaf of all time that this Monstera has ever given. So the DNA behind this plant and this cutting is amazing. And yeah, so you'll see this up on the website probably in about a month or two. But this one will be up a lot sooner. This is the propagation I took. No, Dougie. Stay. He's got to have his ball and put it in stuff. So yeah, this is the propagation I took a couple months ago. So this one will be ready really soon. It's really pretty too, especially that leaf, that big chunk of white on there. It's just gorgeous. And there is a huge root coming out of the bottom. Root. It's a huge root. But yeah, this is our little family here. We have Dave, Doug with the ball, always. There's Kevin here.
This is Kevin.
We're missing some peeps. There's Karen. Hi, Karen. Come here. There's Karen and Dave.
This is my buddy.
Buddy Kevy. Oh, thanks, Kevy. There's Linda behind us, chewing her thing. Yeah, this is our crazy
Big happy
life.
family.
Big happy family. We have to go to Wegmans. We have to go grocery shopping.
Grocery shopping.
We gotta get
We
going.
need
But
food.
thank
We're
you guys.
hungry.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video all the way through. If you got to this point, you guys are the real ones, the all-stars.
3-way.
I don't know where it went, Dougie.
Oh,
There it is.
Good boy.
Yeah, so you guys are amazing. We love you. Have a planty day, guys.
I love you. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
I love you. Yeah, I love you.
She loves it.
Let's go to Weckman's.